Mm, 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 mm. It's back to normal. I wonder why. Let's see if everything's in there. Some of it. Yeah, no, it's got all the new ones in it as well. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. I think tonight's class will start with the alchemy. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? I'm just waiting for some people to get in here before I get started. So, welcome, welcome. I was gonna do it private, but I'm gonna do it public, just so maybe a few of you might be interested. Maybe not. We'll see. What we're going to be getting into is the alchemy, the story of Thoth, Hermes, right, and Mercury, and why it was done the way that it was done. Right? Understanding the symbols and what they mean and what it breaks down to, things like that. Now, where's my other page on Thoth? Where is it? This one right here. There we go. There we go. That's the one we were looking for, folks. So I'm just going to give it a second to let my regulars get in here, and then we'll get started on things. Hey, thanks for the likes, man. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, where's the other phone at? Let's get that set up so that that's running in the background. Oh, there we go. Hey, look, right? Since I'm a good host, right? And I know that y'all don't like that algorithm shit. Bloop. Hey, you want to see something trippy? We're going to put you in a billion dimensions all at once. Watch it keep going, yeah? Look. You see that, right? It's crazy, right? Oh, what happened? All right. You ready? I'm going to knock you into like the 1000th dimension real quick. Watch this shit. Watch. Hold on, wait. Let me get rid of this. Hold on. Hey, look, you ready? We're going to trip the system out real quick. Make it hallucinate. TikTok's like, what the fuck? What is going on? Like, yeah, their little AI system right now is just losing its fucking brain. It doesn't know what the fuck is going on. It thinks that there's something wrong with the system right now. It's like, oh, we're going down. It's crashing. Hey, that shit just keeps on getting more and more crazy. Look, we're gonna back it out, right? Watch. Boop. Welcome. Hey, look, man, I told y'all I'd take y'all into a bunch of different dimensions, right? Hey, watch how trippy this shit gets. Watch. No. Oh, it messed up my cycle. All right, hold on, wait. Oh, wait, that's going to pop up like a million times. Watch. Oh, look at Nah, I just like fucking with TikTok, yo. It's completely lost at this point. There's no reality in this anymore. All right, let me stop fucking with it. Dimensions. That's an interesting subject. Maybe we should touch on that. Dimensions, right? No, we're not going to talk about dimensions. We're going to talk about symbolism. Right? Symbolism. And who is it that they say is the master of masters? Right? The greatest of the greatest of the great of the greatest of the greatest, right? Hermes Trismegistus. The one to be known as the father of alchemy. The one who stores the knowledge, right? The embodiment of Thoth. But what does it all really mean? Who is Hermes? Who is he? Why does he hold the world and the knowledge? It's the knowledge of the world. See the book and the sphere? It's the knowledge of the world. And where does it go to? The mind, of course. You don't recognize this cap? It's the same one that Osiris wears. It's also the same one that they say that Baal wears. But it's really Baal. Baal. Not Baal. Baal. Right? Now, if you notice, right? Hermes. Yes, it is the Pope's hat. It's the mitre hat. Right? So why would Hermes be wearing the mitre hat? Makes you question what that mitre hat really represents, doesn't it? Right? Makes you wonder just a little bit. So we're going to discuss this a little bit. See how the sword's going into the chest? Right? You see that, right? Because the sword represents the sternum. That's why it's going into the armor. Right? It's not just sitting there for no reason, right? It's going in. It's putting down. Right? It's putting something down that's going through the body. Right? You see the little notches. You see the little. You gotta look at the details of these things. Right? Hold on, where's my... Let me get a pointer out. Hold on, let me see something real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19. Oh, wait, no, these are separate. Right? So 16. What's the 16? 16 plus 12 is what? 28. Plus another 7. Oh, that makes sense. So these are the lower 16 vertebrae. Right? Because that's the 16 out of the... Because look, what do we got left? You got 6 right here. 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Well, 6. Right? 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Let's see. All right, so we got the 7 here, which is the top. So there should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, is that why it's a circle inside of a circle? Because that's the 16 for the lower part with the water that's passing through it. Right. See how 1 goes all the way down and 1 stops at the top of the... Right. Because you have the 2 arteries that pass all the way down through the 16. Right? They come down and around, go this way. Follow the trail. Right? Huh? Oh, nah. The sword is just the representation. Look, that's the... I wish I could zoom in more. Right? If you see right here on the sword, there's a little ball that has a face in it. And look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7 little notches right here. Right? Right. Comes from here, goes down. This one, behind it, goes up. But they're both tied together. Hmm? Oh, let me show you. That's the wrong diagram. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's the one of the cross? This one right here, pink. See? You have all the little spears that are wrapped up in the bundles. Some little spearheads popping out. You have the 2 main ones that flow down the middle. All right, watch. That's one that I need to add in, is all the mythology. Need to go through the mythology and start showing it. It's the same shit, because the people that were making these images understood how the other ones were. Hey, what up, Doc? Right? The ones that were creating images like this were following these teachings. Okay? That's why they go together. Because that's how it's always been done. All of the sacred information has always been passed in cartoon form. Always. It's always been done with symbolism. That's the original cartoons. You understand? All of the original cartoons were done to teach. And a lot are still used to this day. Hey, got a new subscriber. Welcome. Yeah, they still use that. Look, Look, right? Right now today's cartoons aren't as in depth as they used to be, right? They're not as in depth as they used to be, right? They'll still carry a moral message with them, right? But because the kids don't understand what these different animals and creatures represent when they see them in the cartoons, they're not also learning about their body at the same time, and science and things like that at the same time through the use of them. So the cartoons that they make are of the same principles. That's why all of them carry morals in them. Those are New Age Bibles, right? Because even if everybody died and all the language went with it, if somebody came and found that years upon years ago, what would it look like? They would think that those were all Bibles and that there were creatures that were flying around and people that had superpowers and that they were able to do great things and travel to great places. And do you understand? If everything got wiped out and everything started all over again and people found the cartoons that they found, they would create what? They would be like, oh, these must be gods, right? These must all be gods, yo. Look at that glowing thing around them. Like people used to have heads that glowed, right? There must have been some type of magic. Look, some of them could have floated in the sky, right? Right. Oh, and they had great messages too. Right? They had great messages too, right? We can't exactly read their writing, right? We can make interprets of it and guess about it and try to tell you what it means, but we can't exactly, like, we can't for real tell you what it means because we don't know what none of this shit means. But look, they had superpowers. Right? And look, they had some kind of device that was used for some kind of a magic of a sort, right? Somebody's always carrying that thing around with them. Right? Right? And look at these little things that they were putting on their heads. Why were they doing that? What's that about? That must be some magical symbol. That's probably something to, you understand? When everything gets wiped out, all of a sudden, all of the knowledge, right? All of the knowledge that's truly hidden in the pictures becomes extremely hard to see. Then all of a sudden it's like, wow, they had giants. Look, they had giants. Look at the size of these people. They're walking on mountains. Right? But look, this guy's giving him something. I wonder what he's giving him. And what is this portal that they're coming out of? That must be a god. That must be a god. He must be something. Look, there's this guy down in this burning thing. And look, these people are man, these guys are injured. Like something's going on down here. These guys on the mountains must have magical powers. They wouldn't know that it was the symbol for the Freemasonry. You see how the circle and the two lines that pop out down here, and then you see this, right? You see the square. See how his head starts the square, and then there's the 2 points for it right here, and then you see how the bottom part goes like this, just like this comes down and goes like this, right? But to even further that, right? To even further that, you got what? You notice how you have the one triangle going this way by the men that are pointing? Oh, right. Right. You see how this guy's pointing down this way? And this guy's arm goes down this way, right? So there's another triangle being created, right? It's straight across and down. And then bink, 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 right? It's there over and over, right? Right, but where would they get such ideas? Right? Right, remember, he's the corner. He's the capstone, remember? He's the capstone. Where do you find capstones at? You don't. You see how you got the 3 that turns into the 1, 2, and the 3? And then you have the 1, 2, and the 3 that turns into the 1, 2, and the 3. Right? Then you have them pointing to make the pyramid. Right? And you got the sun disk behind it. Right? The pyramid and the disk that's behind it. Right? Which is also, you understand? That's why it's, instead of being Jesus, it's G is us. That's why G is us. Right? That's why G is us was born where? On the 31st degree in Bethlehem, and rose to Jerusalem at the 32nd degree, you know, climbing to the 33rd ladder, right? You know, Jacob's ladder, right? You see how his perfectly comes, right, from 31st and the 3rd to the 32nd, right? And then he what? Goes up to Nazareth, right? And he gets what? Ascended to the 33rd, right? His 33rd year of living, right? Right? What's the name of the book? Oh, that would be the Holy Bible, sir. That's what the name of that book is. It's called the Holy Bible, apparently. How can you become a Freemason? I don't know. Talk to Freemasons. They'll probably tell you. You just basically got to walk into one of their buildings and say, hey, I want to be one of you. It's really that simple. Like, you understand? It's that simple. They even have commercials out now. Well, yeah, of course you got to be a guy. You don't see no women in these pictures. Why do you think he was always surrounded by men? Right? That's why women aren't allowed to speak in the church. Right? That's why they can't be pastors. They can't be the leaders inside of the church. Right? It still says that in the New Age Bible, even though there are women doing it. So do their churches even count to these people? Nope. Yeah, the Eastern Star. Imagine that, right? Yeah. This is this. Right? That's why they started taking the pictures out of the Bibles. You understand? They were taking the pictures out of the Bibles due to the fact that it was layered. Just layered with symbolism. Everywhere that you looked, it was just straight up symbolism. But the funny thing is you notice how there's no women? Right? Why? Because it's an order of men. Right? The only one that's allowed in there is who? The mother. Because it's Ma's son. It's Ma's son, the Mason. You understand? How the knowledge of mastered stone masonry is related to spirituality? Well, that, my friend, I couldn't tell you. And I worked under the only master masons in the entire country. The last 2 of them, as a matter of fact. The only 5th generation ones in the entire United States. Straight from Italy and shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I don't mean Freemasons. I mean Masons. I mean people that build stuff. I mean, I know how to do all concrete work, all of it, anything that has to do with concrete. But metaphorically speaking, you know, that's the foundation of everything, right? You get it? The foundation, right? The Freemasons, right? Of the free Ma's son. Free Ma's son. Freemason. Free Ma's son. Freed the sons. Right? Okay. See who wears the crowns? Because it gave away a secret. It was about Ma's son. The founder of the Freemasons. But yeah, so if all of society got destroyed and everything, all the intelligence got wiped out and the languages with it, and there was nothing but children left, right? And you showed them something like, let's say they stumble across some documents like this, right? They stumble across some documents like these that are just scattered all over the place. You know, they've got all these real creatures. And they show these things of these creatures that had, like, you know, superhuman abilities, and, you know, they had lasers that came out of their eyes and fucking flew around in the sky, and some of them were giants, and some of them had glowy stuff from them. Some of them controlled nature and shit. And these must have been what was running around on the planet, right? These must be the gods that were fighting, right? Because they can't understand the words. All they can see is the pictures, right? So all of a sudden, these comic book characters, right? And then you open up the comics, and what do you find when you open up the comics? You find great tragedies, heralding stories of saviors and ones coming out of nowhere to save the people, you know? And then you see that there's real versions. For some reason, there's pictures of them like there's real versions. You know, you just found this ancient civilization that was abandoned a long time ago, and you just stumbled across these special, sacred religious documents, right? Right, you stumble across these special sacred documents of all these beastly looking creatures and these people that are sitting in chairs, and some of them have glowing eyes, and some of them have magic powers, some of them shapeshift into animals, some of them fly, some of them do all of that stuff, right? Right? You found all of these things, and they must have been gods. Right? They must have been gods. Because you know, they had heads like animals, and, you know, there was giants and there was little tiny ones, and look at these ones, these little mutants right here, right? These look at this god sitting right here holding on to that. What is that thing that they're holding? Those must be rods of power. Right? Right, look at that one right there with the lion. They must have been splicing the genetics or something, because, you know, they found all of these creatures, right? You know, they must have been gods, right? Right? Because look, it's not like they just had them back then. Look, they had other ones too. And, you know, they were all over the place. The whole world was full of them or something. Oh, yeah, they were cloning people. Right? That must be what it was. Because look at them, right? So they must be gods, right? And look, they must have been worshiping the sun. Right? That must be the sun. I've never seen a fucking red sun in my life, but that must be the sun. That must be the sun that they're worshiping, right? All right, look at this. Look, they had giants, right? They had giants. Look at how small the lion is compared to the giant. Right? Look at this guy. This guy had fish. He must have been a fish god. Right? Holy shit. And he had a jug and some kind of seed that he was planting, right? The fish that were planting the seed. Right? So, you know, all of a sudden, you know, a whole world gets changed, right? Everybody's information gets wiped out, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, there's fucking, look at these creatures that these guys had. This guy must be a god too. Right? All these gods, look, what are they doing? Right? So, you know, when things change and you find fucking and you know, you stumble on things from other civilizations and stuff, and you start writing stuff down about it, right? All of a sudden these images of these gods, right? He must have been a god. He had that fucking glow. He had a sun glowing around him everywhere that he went. Like, what kind of magic was that, right? And look, all these people are following him around, and somebody's fucking tugging on him, and somebody's holding this shit up. Like, this guy must have been somebody special, right? Look, right? Something special about that guy, right? He must have been a god. And all of a sudden, regular people just start believing these stories of these gods. Right? Because they find these cartoons. These little cartoon characters that, you know, they keep finding them, you know, they just keep finding them everywhere. And then all of a sudden you've got all these gods that start popping up. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, well, our God's not going to have the head of an animal. We're going to make it look like us. Right? Because it's a god. It's not a symbol. Right? It's not, like, you know, imagine just being a dummy, right? And not knowing anatomy, and then seeing this stuff. And then never seeing a scarab before, never seeing the fucking snake, never seeing the owl. You know, you've never seen none of them creatures. Like, now you're just looking at these fucking, what the fuck? It must be a god. It's got the head of a fucking scarab, and it's on a man's body. Do you see how people come up with shit, right? They don't know that the scarab is known for taking things from the ground and taking them all the way down and bringing them back up, you know, kind of like the cycling of your blood, leaving from the brain, going down the brain stem through the vertebrae that goes down and returns to the mind. You know, when you're creating, right? Imagine finding this stuff and be like, holy fuck, man. Who are these? Who are these people? Why are they so important? Right? Do you understand how religions get started? Do you understand how religions get started? Like, think about it for a minute, right? Because, Because, you know, things get found that they don't know what they truly mean, but they know that if they make something similar to it, that they'll be able to use that similar thing to verify how long it's been around. Right? Right? By mimicking the thing and then claiming it as their own, and right, realign. It's realign. It's not religion, it's realignment. That's what it is. You're realigned. Sorry, I just had to take me a sip of honey. Needed something sweet. So, you know, you should be confused, Jonathan, because what they've done is confusing as fuck. See, by lack of knowledge, things that actually have a real meaning to them, that actually tell you something, are then mistaken and misused. Right? Oh, like Legion of Doom. You understand? So that instead of seeing what these things actually represent, right? The vertebrae, man. These are all vertebrae. See how the vertebrae look sideways from the side? See how they stick up with a little... That's what that is. In every civilization. Oh, Masons, right? Wonder why. So look, right? The thing about symbolism is that depending on the ones who use it, can teach you great things or they can teach you horrible things. They can teach you great things that are about you, or they can teach you horrible things that are about things that have nothing to do with you. You understand? If something like this bothers you, it's because you're under a spell. That spell has you seeing some terrible fucking scary creature. Right? That spell is easily broken by seeing what it actually is. Okay? The ram's head, because of your lateral ventricles. That's the ram inside your brain. The reason why they go up and in is to symbolize it being inverted. They're up. They're vertical and in the circle. Inverted. Right? This is your frontal, your occipital, your perineal, your limbotic, and your cerebellum. There's two sides to the cerebellum. Okay? These are the lobes of the brain. That's it. This is your spinal column coming up to where the pineal gland sits, because your pineal gland sits at the back of the top of the brain. It does not sit near your fucking forehead. I don't know who started that shit, but that's not where it sits, okay? This is your circle of Willis. This is the bottom half of it. This part, the 5-pointed star that has the 6th little ventricle that splits down the middle. The 5-pointed star with the 6th ventricle that splits down the middle. This is representing the top half of the circle of Willis. Do you see? This is this. That's your brain. Okay? So you see, when people don't know what things symbolize, it's easy to be convinced that it's some type of deity or scary creature, because comic books are always used to teach you about yourself. Okay? So, now you understand. Now this is where they get the ram from. Okay? Your lateral ventricles, also known as your interior and your anterior horn. Okay? That's the aqueduct, the part where the water goes around inside of the brain. Right? Okay? That's where the ram comes from. The serpent that's sitting on the top, that's your frontal lobe. See how it leans and curves back? And what's below the frontal lobe? See that circle that's right there? That's the circle that you see right there. You understand? Yeah, the truth will set you free, because it's easy to be put under spells when people slap some crazy shit in your face for your whole entire life and find every way to make everybody believe that their crazy version of it is fucking what it is. And then all of a sudden you take something that's good and turn it into something fucking destructive and evil and terrifying to people for lack of knowledge. My people will perish for lack of knowledge. For they reject knowledge, and I say, I'll reject thy seat in the heavens. You can't get into heaven running around fucking terrified and worshiping deities. If you're scared of this, that means you worship it. Fear is the biggest form of worship. That's the most acknowledging thing that you have, that something exists. So if you fear something like this, you worship this. That's why the people that call this a demon and say that you're demon and devil worshipers and things like that, that's why they lose their mind when they see this. Right? They can't comprehend anything else because they're under a spell. They were given a certain meaning of this, and so they can't see it any other way. Right? Oh, here we go with the fallen angels and shit. You see what I mean? Y'all better stop worshiping these things. Stop worshiping these things. These have nothing to do with gods and angels and demons and devils. They're just trying to scare the fuck out of you. And it's working, because you're sitting here preaching about it. Everybody that's been in here now knows that this is beyond reasonable doubt body parts. Right? We could take it even further. What are the wings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? The feathers represent the muscles that wrap around the rib cage, and the 12 would be the 12 thoracic vertebrae that hold your rib cage in place. The 12 notches with the fucking muscles that wrap around them. And just so that you don't argue with me about the muscles, I want you to see why the feather is the muscle. Let me show you real quick. Bink. Because your fucking muscles look like feathers, my friends. Okay? Feathers. Okay? Feathers. And they still represent the feathers here. Look at the fingers. All right? You have the one that curls over and the two that go out. from the fist, from the round thing, right? Kind of like you have the one that curls over and the two that go straight out from the round thing. And look, there's two that go straight out and one that curls over from the round thing on this side going the opposite, right? Oh, where's that other hand at? Same hand. It's cut off in the picture, but it's still the same fingers, pointing down, pointing up. Funny guys won't answer questions like as above, so below. It's not a fucking question, first off. Secondly, you're saying it incorrectly. You're saying the misinterpretation. The misinterpretation is as above, so below. The correct interpretation is as above, of below. It's one in the same. It's the beginning and the end. It's not separate. As above, so below is a mirroring. As above, of below is one and the same. See, the secret to duality, my friend, that thinks that they want to speak to me about these things, is that it's all about the one. The secret of duality, my friend, is that the duality only exists because of the observer. So, you can either rely on it as a trinity, which is why there's 3 levels to things, or you can rely on it as a solo individual. Depending which one, either one is justifiable, but duality itself does not exist. Hence, as within, of without. It's about oneness. This isn't about everybody. This is about you. So I don't know. Maybe when you were studying the Kybalion and you read about the Hermetic principles, you missed the part where it tells you that the true initiate will read between the lines. Right? Maybe you missed that part where you weren't supposed to read it word for word, but actually understand what was being conveyed from the other side of things. They didn't used to sacrifice dogs to this, my friend. They just told you stories of people doing it because they didn't understand the things that they were seeing. My friend, you're telling me this like the people witnessed it. They did not. They just made up a whole shit ton of stories and gave you a whole fake history. The Roman Catholic Church is responsible for it. There's thousands of years of fucking history that just don't exist. Entire empires were made up off of findings of destroyed communities that they destroyed themselves and just told you they were ancient. They made gods and deities out of cartoon characters and sold them to you in religions and gave you great stories. But they couldn't even come up with good stories. It was just a mimicking over and over again. Right? They couldn't come up with different ones. They're still trying to. They're adding and changing things as we speak. But they couldn't steer away from the basic moral story of it. So it's repeated everywhere, even though, but yeah, that's what happens, right? That's what happens when you start shipping children all over the world. Right? You give them really good bedtime stories. And you reshape the entire world through the children. Right? to the 1930s, right? It was all being rewritten all the way through the 1930s, right? Funny thing about that, right? Right, all over. Look. These are all the routes. These are all the routes that the children were being fucking flooded through this country, right? Right? And as they were being flooded through the country, right? What happened? Remember, that ended in the 1930s. Right? I want you to think about how recent that really was. In the 1930s it happened, and then all of a sudden, what changed in society? Where the fuck is that page at? Yeah. What was the big change in the world? Oh yeah, television came out. It was the birth of the greatest trick ever played. Oh, it was programming. Purely programming. And that programming was an entire new history, including Greeks and Romans and fucking Sumerians and Aztecs and Mayans and Egyptians and it's a great experiment, right? The fuck? Yeah, my other phone is going slow. Sorry about that. Right, and then they told you these stories about these lost civilizations and stuff, and fucking next thing you know, the whole entire history just goes out the window, doesn't it? Right? Think about it. At the same time that this was going on, what else was taking place, right? At the birth of the Hollywood, the Druids taking over your minds, right? Right? 1911 was when Hollywood was first. Right? That's when they started making their first film in 1913, right? By the 1930s, the TV made its way into the house. Pew, 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 right? And it just went, then history just changed from there. Everybody got put under a spell. Just that quick. It was like lightning, huh? Think about how quick that really was. Right? And then what happened, right? After everybody gets put on a spell, right? They go around and they pull all the church bells. Right? All right. You see what they were doing while they were cleaning everything up? Oldest church bells in the United States are found in the Old North Church in Boston, Massachusetts. These 8 bells were cast in Gloucester, England, and blah, 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 blah. The title, right? They took out all the bells. Told you about lead paint, right? Took all the lead off the walls so that all the vibrations could get through, right? Because they created the internet. Now, mind you, the bells happened way before the internet. We're just going through, the different changes that were made to the land. Right? Lead paint banned the same year, 2 years after the internet comes out. Right? Right. So they remove everything that'll make it so that they can't see you through the walls. Right? You really think you really think that them being able to see you with that current running through your house is new technology? The internet comes through cables and shit. No. The bells gave you energy. You didn't have to eat. That's why there weren't toilets in the old buildings. That's why they had to build all the toilets. All the buildings. Let me show you something. I should make a whole Tartarian section and explain all the Tartarian buildings and shit like that. Y'all don't even know how deep this shit is. Look, let me show you, right? The bells would ring at certain frequencies. Those frequencies would be in the bell towers of the churches. And so at certain points of the day, it would ring, and since you had fucking copper lined in all of the buildings, right? All the buildings had those little cute little weather vanes on the top of them, right? Those little weather vanes had mercury inside of them. The reason they had mercury inside of them was because when you rang the bells, the frequencies of the energy that were getting shot out into the air like crazy all throughout the entire world all at once would just resonate with everybody around it, making it so that you were full of energy. Now, if you're full of energy, you don't really need to what? Eat. Which means that you don't need to what? Shit. Right? So there's no need for what? Toilets. People weren't just shitting in the streets, people. Okay? They weren't just shitting in the streets, and they didn't even have outhouses. Outhouses were what the uncivilized people came here and added to them. Right? After destroying the technology and removing it, they added outhouses to everything. Because they were savages that ate animals and food and stuff instead of advanced beings that were running off of frequencies and energy, right? And so they had to make places to take dumps. Your house would have been lined with copper chimneys so that it would magnify the energy that was coming off of that weather vane and shoot it through the whole entire house, just flooding your house. And since your house had lead paint, it was keeping all the energy resonating inside of the building, which was turning your house into your own personal fucking frequency hospital. The fireplaces weren't made for fire. The fireplaces didn't have burn marks. That's why they had copper pipes that ran through everything to conduct it. Well, I say that again. Okay, let me repeat that to you. You can still see the buildings that are set up for this now. They kept them for themselves. They're the state capitol buildings and most of your college campuses and most of your old school churches. These are all frequency buildings. You can tell by the way that they're built. They're built. If you look, they all have towers, which are what? Giant conduction rods, right? That's why the sorry. Ooh, what the fuck? That's random as fuck. The towers are domes, right? And if you look up inside those domes, they're either lined with gold or copper, right? Right? Because what? The energy goes up into them. And if you notice that gold and copper is always made into a spiral form, right? And why? Because they ring the bells in the other towers and it goes into those and those become generators. You understand? The Catholic churches, the cathodes, the cathode hurts, right? Inside of the chambers where the people do their confessions, those are lined with the fuck is it, yo? Those are special fucking rooms, yo. It's not for fucking confessions. That's for regeneration of the body. It's a very, very, very fucking... why can't I remember the name of it? It'll come to me later. Those rooms are made for specific healing. Like heavy frequency healing. That's why they close off the way that they do, and they're so heavy. It's a metal that they're made out of for a reason. It's a conduction building. That's why they had those openings at the tops of it. All of the old churches, all of the courthouses, all of the government buildings, all of those old buildings are remnants of that. They had to build bathrooms in them. Yes, the church was where you went to get healed. That was the hospital. They didn't need hospitals. That's why they had to build so many of them. One, people weren't out here fucking stabbing people and hurting people like that. So you didn't really have need for that kind of a hospital. Everything was healed by frequency. No, they don't work because they took all the bells away. You would have to know what frequency the bells were that were in those towers, and you would have to replace them. And then you would have the smaller bells that went to the smaller churches, because it doesn't take one tone, it takes multiples of them all ringing at once. There's a synchronicity that's needed. That you've never felt the energy when you're listening to a chorus and they all hit specific notes at a certain time. All of a sudden you'll feel this large energy just wave out. You've never experienced that. You should listen to some classical music. There's shit that you can listen to that'll literally bring you to tears just listening because of the tones and the frequencies in it. That's how potent this stuff is. And it's only in the classical music, because everything else has been adjusted off of those frequencies. Jazz has nothing to do with that. It's not the same as the classical music. The classical music was made based off of that type of thing. Why? Because Beethoven was what? He was what? Anybody? For the money? What was wrong with Beethoven? What was his supposed handicap? It wasn't that his handicap wasn't that he was black. What is wrong with y'all? He was blind. Something wrong with y'all, man. He was either blind or deaf. Hold on, let me double check that. Let me make sure. I don't want to give you the wrong thing. Translate feeling into music. Wasn't he fucking blind, though? Who was it that was... I'm not... No, because blind was Ray Charles, yo. Could have sworn he was deaf. No, not chopping. Oh, this is your list. This is your list of frequency music right here. Just so you know, Beethoven plus these guys right here. I don't know some of them, but Wolfgang, Johann, right? That's Sebastian Bach. Right? Haven't heard Fratz, but I have heard Chopin. Right? These people, I don't know who they are. Yeah, Beethoven was deaf. I was right. Talking about he was blind. Anyway, look, right? So the thing is that means that he was feeling the vibrations when he was creating them. So when he was feeling the vibrations when he was creating them, that was creating a different sound than anybody else could create. It was unique. So people started copying off of his style due to this because of the effects that it would give you. You get me? Okay. So understand that those churches were very special buildings. They used to be, right? They weren't used for terror and things all the time, right? They were used for adjusting the body on a molecular level through the light and sound healing. It was all frequency work. You understand? You would go in, the bell would ring, the sun would pass through the fucking light. This is where you went if you were really sick. Okay? We're getting back to the point of working with frequency tools. They're starting to not be able to deny them anymore. I have one coming to me. It's going to be dope. I get to be one of the first people to have them. Well, not the first, they're just starting to bring them into America. Right? They just got their sales license for here in America like this year or something like that. Like it's in the building stages. What do you mean meditation works for what? What does meditation have to do with the stuff that I was just talking about? The frequency tools? I'll have the information on it soon. Oh, meditation isn't sound healing. Meditation is breath work, basically. It's stillness. The reason that you do meditation is to clear your mind so that you can hear things that you don't normally hear. That's the best way I can explain it to you. That's to regulate the flow of things, and it gives you access to things that you can't control without it because of the overexertion of the energies that you use for everything else. In order for you to be able to tap into the things that you need to sit still. The reason you have to sit still is because standing still is going to require energy. Laying down is going to put you to sleep. Sitting is the only thing that you can do that minimizes the amount of energy that you exert to almost nothing. And then you slow down the breathing, and now you're starting to gain control of the mind, because once you assume control of one thing, it lets them know that you're ready to give commands. Most people use meditation for things other than what it really is good for, and that's because they don't know about what it's good for. Yeah, they don't understand that through meditation you can induce certain things within you, and you can alter things if you know your organs and how they operate, and you're able to give commands to certain things to change things. There's a lot that you can do with meditation that most people don't know or even practice in these days because it's a lost art. You know, there's people that are close to it. Right? There are some people that use it. There's people that actually use it, like, you know, that know how to regulate their energy to the point to where, you know, they can be in freezing cold temperatures and they can sit in fires and things like that. These are people that have mastered that shit, right? But there's more to it than I think some of them even know about. Possibly. I don't know. They might know about this stuff, but I haven't seen them doing anything that would show me that they do know about the things that I know about. Right? So I'm not going to say that they do or don't. I just know that I haven't seen anything. But yeah, you can access your DNA through it if you get that deep into it. But, you know, I haven't reached that level yet, but I'm working on it. I've changed some things about my body, but not the way that you would think. It's not like physical stuff that you would see, like just, you know, different commands that I've given myself that I've noticed differences in. Right? But I don't want to say I'm beyond meditating, because like I can always meditate more, but I don't really find it as necessary anymore because of the understanding that I've gained through the things that I've been doing. But it is something that you need to go through in the beginning of things. And it is something that is beneficial through all times. It's always beneficial to meditate, because if you're going to fast, you might as well meditate as well, because you should fast your emotions too. Don't just fast your food. Sometimes fast your water. Sometimes you need to fast your mind. Sometimes you should fast your body. Fasting is just restraining from doing something. That's all that it is. You're fasting your body when you meditate. You understand? You're fasting movement. The closest you can get to fasting your breath is holding your breath for long periods of time. You can extend that beyond what people tell you that you can too. Why is fasting good? Because you're filling your body full of toxic stuff. I just told you people used to live off of frequency. You're not supposed to be eating. You ain't supposed to be eating, yo. This is their bullshit. They did that to us. I mean, it's not that you're not supposed to be eating, but you don't need to if you have frequencies. Your body runs off of energy. If they put energy back into the air to the point to where you're able to receive it again, then you don't need to eat, do you? You understand? Rock the bells, right? Then you had Dr. Dre with ring ding dong. Let the bells ring, right? Bro, it's kind of crazy, bro. Like, look, I want you to think about this, right? I want you to think about this. In the 1920s was when they stopped the orphan trains. That means that if you're not melanated, your parents were more than likely stolen children that belong to different families, and you don't even know about it. The frequency item I'm getting, around $1,200. It's about $1,200, which, considering what people are really trying to sell these things for, is really good. Yeah. Nah, you don't. You want a midwife. You want a midwife, right? If you can, go out to the ocean and go swim with the dolphins and let them pump some good frequencies into your baby so that you get a fucking genius. Oh, that baby will come out so fucking smart if you fucking do that shit. You get me? Why, if you weren't melanated? Because those were the Irish, the Slavic, the Italian, those were all the children. So if you weren't, the melanated people are from the country. We're from this land, right? I know I'm light-skinned as fuck, but that's because I'm mixed with some of this, okay? My mom's fucking European, okay? So understand that when I tell you this, I'm just telling you this because it's factual, not because I'm trying to say fuck you in any way, because that's also half of me. Okay? It was just the Irish, the European, the British, the fucking... It was just them. And it was the British people that had control of them. You understand? Alright, my bad. I'm back. Oh, word. Bro, a lot more people are from this than they know about, yo. Like, a lot more people are from this than they know about. Because, you know, a lot of people's great-grandparents aren't going to be just like, hey, you know, make sure you tell them. Make sure you tell... Remember, this was 2 generations ago. These were kids... Remember, this is your kids in the 1920s. This is when they told you that all the slavery and shit was going on. Right? Right, they told you this is when all the black people were enslaved, apparently, but really, it was all these little kids. Right? The black kids were chilling because they were the Moors, and they were just, look how well dressed. Look at the difference. See how well dressed? See how happy and cheerful and running around with flowers and chilling and shit? At the same time, there was this going on. You understand? Meanwhile, they're telling you that everybody was, you know, being shackled, being whipped and stuff. Hollywood, bro. 1920, Hollywood. Straight up Hollywood. This was the slavery. Not this. You understand? The only way that you can say this is responsible for this is because this is what allowed the 13 colonies to settle in the country and start fucking building their corporation. That's how the Moors are responsible. They were the ones that they gave permission for Britain to set up their colonies. They didn't know that Britain was just going to be enslaving the fuck out of everybody. They didn't know about that shit. They just thought that they wanted to come over here and set up a good business because they were trying to get away from a fucked up government, not knowing that that was really the fucked up government sending an agent over here to set up the same shit. This basically became Britain's slave camp. Everybody seems to forget that Great Britain is who founded the 13 colonies. The Moors were always here, and we're still here. It's all the people that look like this. These are the Moors. Okay? These are the Moors. The Moors were chilling. Why? Because it was the 1930s, bro. All this time they're telling you all this stuff took place, and because how upset with the entire fucking white community and the entire supposed white community, right? They want you to they want you to call yourselves white, right? How upset would the whole white community be if they were like, hold the fuck up, wait a minute, you're telling us that you guys enslaved us, and meanwhile you told us that you did it to them, bro? Look, 1920s. So by the 1940s, these were the business people. When was the revolution that they say ended the slavery? Right? They tried to start segregation with these people. You understand? Think about this. They tried to start segregation with these people in the 1920s. They tried to program it into these kids. How long did that last that they tried to force that into these kids? It didn't even make it fucking 40 years. By the time they were adults, they all went after the system. because they all came from this. There wasn't 7. There wasn't 7. There wasn't. This is the time that they're saying that all was taking place. It didn't happen. Exactly. It was the Moors that built all the buildings, all of that nice ass stuff that they were destroying in the expositions that nobody can seem to build nicely like that ever again. Yeah, that was all of the technology that they were erasing. The 15 and 1600s, there were wars going on. And as those wars were taking place, these people were moving in. The Britons were moving in on the territory. Truth, 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 truth. Kill the noise, my guy, because let me show you, friend. Since you want to try to scream it at, oh, you could buy us in a catalog. Let me show you something, guy. These are not for you. These are not for you. These are the children that were sold in catalogs. Keep believing that Hollywood shit that they gave everybody. These are newspaper clippings. You understand? Newspaper clippings and shit. African Americans don't deserve shit, bro. Ain't no African Americans here. That's the problem. That's never gonna get you nothing. You're not gonna get nothing because you need to know that these are all corporate names. I'm so glad that Gaddy put this out. You need to go watch this video by Gaddy. I reposted it. This is the timeline of the names that were given to the Moors. The Moors became the Indians, became the slaves, then the Negroes, and the black, then the Negro, then the colored, then the African, then the black, then the African American, then minority, then black, then African. Bro, you're never going to get shit like that because the only way that you can actually get out of that and get the shit that you deserve is by claiming your nationality, which is Moorish. It's a bloodline. But you go ahead and claim that African American shit and see how far you get with it. See what that does. See what that does for you. You keep believing all these stories, all right? Right, and who's in charge of the who are the people that tend to the orphans again? Anybody for a gold star? Who tends to the orphans again? Who brags about it constantly? Anytime that you go into their lives, you're like, oh, we're good men and we take care of all the orphans and da-da-da. That's what we do in our spare time, right? Nah, it ain't fucking CPS. CPS is the ones that collect them. CPSs are the collectors. Let me tell you how the system works. The CPS does the collection. No. Somebody already said it. It's right here on the picture. What's it say on the picture? I literally put it right in front of you. Now, this is your task for the evening. Now, I don't mean like the new age ones, like my boy My boy Gnostic Pope, you're not going to find this in his thing, because he doesn't represent these new Masons. He's actually knowledgeable and does his studying and things like that. I don't even know, honestly, I don't know how long he's going to stay around those type of people. But if you check into it, right? If you go into any of those lives where you see a whole bunch of them, just go look for it and go in there and ask them what they do for the community in their spare time. And they're going to brag to you about how they tend to all of the kids. They're going to be like, oh, we tend to all of the orphans. Well, I bet you do. Right? And then guess what? You got the Shriners that do what? They tend to all the hospitals. I mean, the hospitals, the places where the children are abandoned at, right? Where they get their birth certificates, right? They tend to those, right? And then that's all your who? Your politicians and stuff, right? And then there's 33, right? Why 33? Because 33 is 11 3 times. Right? What's the significance of the number 11? Does anybody know? Does anybody know the significance of the number 11? I just want to see if anybody knows this. Let me show you how deep it really gets. Right? What is the significance of the number 11? Oh, it is the pillars. I didn't even think of it like that, but that's a good point. It is the 2 pillars. But what is the significance of number 11? If you don't have an answer and you just want to know what it is, just put a 1 in the chat. All right, hold on. I'm going to type it in on my internet thing real quick, and I'm going to bring it up when I show you. You ready for this? Now remember, right? Remember, it's all of your politicians, your lawyers, your barbers, your doctors, your government, your police, your sheriffs. Right? They tell you that in the movies, right? They always show them popping up in robes, right? And they pop up in the robes with the mitre hats, right? Think about that. They pop up in robes with mitre hats, right? That pointy thing that sits on top, right? That's a mitre hat, right? And so they pop up in robes and mitre hats with burning crosses. Right? And they show you in every movie, right? In every single movie, they show you that nobody can figure out where they are or who they are. And that's why they won't be put on that watch list for real, right? They got put on the list eventually, but it's not really on the list because they're not doing nothing about it. You know why? Because they are your lawyers and your doctors and your politicians and they're all around you in every single state, in every single county. Waiting to prey on your children, waiting to snatch your kids in the name of the queen. They just don't run around with their mitre hats and their crosses anymore. Not everywhere, not publicly anyway. Right? But they all meet in secret, and they all have all these secret locations that nobody can seem to find and blah, 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 right? So, one time for the people in the back, what is 11 times 3? What do those 2 pillars stand for? No, they're not secret at all, CJ. They're right in everybody's faces. It's right in everybody's face. And they wonder why things are so screwed up. What the fuck is a petition gonna do? What is a petition gonna do, my guy? You're talking to the people that think that you're stupid. You're too dumb to figure out who they are. You think a piece of paper is gonna help you? What kind of world do you live in, guy? They'll disappear you for that piece of paper. You'll get disappeared over that paper. You'll be over there trying to fight them with paper, and you're just going to disappear. You just get erased. Right, you'll get dragged. You will get dragged out, my guy. Bro, why do you think they don't acknowledge certain chapters of Freemasonry? They don't acknowledge certain chapters of Freemasonry due to the people that are of the denomination that are mostly in it, and certain because of the areas that they're in. That ain't us. Hell no. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Little do they know that the Klan was never a white thing in the first place. Hey, look, my friend. I'm not saying that everybody knows what they're a part of. You get me? That's why I don't hold everybody accountable. At all. There are plenty of good people that are mixed in there. You get what I'm saying? I would never knock an entire group of people over the actions of some of the ones that belong to them. I've suffered because of that from all kinds of people for my whole entire life. I would never generalize an entire group, because that just gets you nowhere quick. But, you know, the denial of it is kind of beyond me, because it is kind of blatant, especially considering the fact how much you guys learn about symbolism and all these things. It's right there in front of your faces. And the scary part about it is some of y'all actually go through the shit. Like some of y'all, some of them have fucking children that have been snatched from them, that have had to go through fucking battles with courts and shit and before they became that, right? You get what I'm saying? So some of y'all know. Some of y'all some of them been on the receiving end of having their kids snatched, but people don't look at how far their stuff is really into stuff. They just go into it on the surface level. Nah, bro, I'm definitely not misinformed. There is no misinformation, my friend. It's literally history. It's literally history. This is during the time of this. That's what this is. Now, you have to understand that things are compartmentalized. Right? So, to you guys, you think you're just tending to children. Right? You know, a good deed, by any means, it's a good deed to tend to children. But what you don't understand is what's really taking place. Where these children are coming from and why they're coming from them. You get what do you understand? So I'm not saying by any means that you guys are doing this out of malice or out of some sneaky thing. I know you do, CJ. I know you guys do. I know you guys do what you guys think is doing good things. Right? That's what they have you believing. But the reality is you guys are part of the trafficking just as much as the rest of the system is. Because everybody's getting sold over to the British Crown. Everybody's being sold to Britain. We're all from America. My friend, you're from America. Right? You're American, aren't you? But you've been sold to the British Crown just like the rest of us. You get me? You're no different. Yes, they did. I know that, CJ. That's the problem. You're not understanding what you're saying when you're saying that. They 100% founded America on behalf of the British royal family. They're responsible for everything that's been taking place here. That's the thing, my friend. You're not free. You're not free. You're in hell. You're owned by the British family. That's who owns the rights to your birth certificate right now. Unless you've already taken it back from them. You do understand that, right? Where'd he go? Must be writing a long comment. Yeah, the Vatican has your sole contract. Washington, D.C. holds the bond on it. Exactly right, JP. Right? You're owned by the British royal family. Where do I come up with this? Okay, what is the founding country? What is the country that founded the 13 colonies? Follow me along here, my good friend. I just want to open your eyes to things. What is the founding company that sent the Freemasons over here that they represented? Great Britain. The 13 colonies were the start of Great Britain. That is the corporation of America. It says it right here on the Peace Treaty. The one of peace and friendship. Hold on, I'll bring the whole document up. Give me 1 second. If you don't remember your history class, they bragged to you that, they came over here and started things on behalf of the crown. Great Britain is what founded the 13 colonies. That's the start of the corporation. That's who has the contract with the Moors, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that recognized them as being able to do commerce on the land. They gave them permission in 1776 or 1777. All right, this is the other half of it, right? 1787, with John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. All right? No, they never won the independence. No, it was a straight up fucking farce. Okay, here's your boys. This is a copy of it right here. All right, this is them getting permission to do commerce. Okay, so this is who owns you because you're part of this. That's why you have to work. This is why they tell you that this is why you keep hearing that you're dead at sea. Because you went into a hospital and got a record of being born, and then you disappeared from that point because you went over to the corporation. The birth certificate took your sole contract. They sold it over to the devil, right? Literally, that's what happened, right? And you're in hell. Look, I'll prove it. I'll show you right now. You're in hell, right? The name formerly given to a place under the exchequer, I don't even know how to say that, exchequer chamber where the king's debtors were confined, right? Where the king's debtors. You're in debt to the royal crown, aren't you? What do you mean, how's that the process? That you got your birth certificate and you're a citizen of the United States of America. You're a citizen of the corporation that Great Britain founded in 1787. That's what you are. You're a product of Great Britain's at this point. You're a living person, but you don't own your body. They own your body. That's why you have everybody switching their status, getting control of their birth certificate and getting it legalized on all the levels of the court to verify through the system that they're not a part of it anymore, and then getting access to their trust and all of that stuff. That's because of this. Because right now you're in hell. That's the definition of it by the law. You're in hell. You're in debt to the king, right? Chamber where the king's debtors were confined. They started America for the debtors. That's why they tell you that you're in debt when you're born and why you have to go to work and why you have to pay to have a house, why you have to pay. That's because you're in debt to the king for getting you permission to do business here. Right? Supposedly, he got you permission to do business here, right? This is his farm. This is the royal family's farm. That's why we do all of their bidding when it comes to war and stuff like that. But luckily for you, you can remove yourself from that. Depending on who you go to, it might cost thousands of dollars, or you can get the packet from me for $50 and do it yourself. I mean, it all depends on how you want to go about it. You know, you don't have to, I'm not going to walk you through it, but I'll give you the stuff to give it to you step by step. What you mean you don't do their bidding? You do their bidding. What the fuck are you talking about? Everybody does their bidding. Everything you're doing is under their bidding right now. I mean, I don't do their jobs and stuff like that. I find other ways to survive. So I do as little bit. So I put as little bit of a dent in there as possible. Hell no, I don't pay taxes. On what? The only taxes I have to ever have to pay for is fucking utilities and shit like that. And that's it. Because everything I get, I buy outright. I don't fucking participate in their day-to-day companies, right? I don't do their business, right? So the only thing that I really use their money for is food. Oh, is that why they offed Miller? I thought they offed him because he freed Hawaii. I thought that's why David, what? How did he get rid of the birth certificate system? Because everybody's still getting birth certificates. Maybe that's why they offed him, so that nobody found that part out. Can you find me proof of that? Can you send me proof that he got rid of the birth certificate? I would love to fucking help to get that out. Nah, there's got to be documentation proof. Bro, I already look into so much, yo. Like, I already got my hands tied with a ton of shit. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not several of them, Tina. What are you talking about? It's every single last one of them. There's not one that's been excluded of it because it's a family business. There's nobody that's not related to the royal family. That, bro, all around the world, everybody that's in charge is related. Everybody that's claiming to be in charge of stuff is related. Yes, that is true. It's 100% true. You just need to look far enough back in their fucking family trees. That's all you got to do. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I done looked. Yeah. Duh. Look, not only are they related, that run the countries, but all the famous people are pretty much related to them too. Yeah, including Obama, yeah. Nah, we're not all related to royalty then. And they're not either. They've got stolen royalty. No, why do you think? Never mind. I can't talk about their dual citizenship. Hey, look, here, I'll give you something to look into. Everybody that's in power and that's in a place of politics is also a dual citizen. Okay? Well, just look up which politicians are dual citizens. You're going to lose your fucking mind, especially when you see where it is that they're dual citizens from. Matter of fact, here, I'll see if I can show you. Hold on, look. Dual citizenship. Let's just go to the images. Let me show you something real quick. Oh, wait. No, where's a bit? I know somebody's got a whole fucking... Watch. Oh, here you go. 89% of Congress. Bro, I'm Russian. Leave me alone. Hey, look. Hey, look. Hey, look. You ready for this? Watch this. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Watch this. Hold on. Hold on. Wait. Maybe. I don't know if they're gonna... It's gonna be hard to find. Hold on. Wait. Let me see if I can... Let me see if I can show you a way to do this. Because they get real sensitive on this stuff. On this subject. Because there's something I tried to put a video out that got that got me in trouble about this subject, y'all. I just want to show it to you. Hold on. Watch this shit. All right, hold on. Let me see if I just spell out this first thing, maybe somebody will have already been searching for it. See that name right there? That's who owns it. Now you see what the problem is? Now do you get what I'm fucking showing? Hold on. Matter of fact, fuck that. I'll just show you. Balfour Declaration Statement, November 2nd, 1917, of British support of the establishment and of national home for You understand? (1917) proposal regarding the establishment of a okay? Do you understand? Go look that up for yourself. On that note, I'll catch y'all later. Thank y'all for attending. Yeah, so now I want you to think about this for a second. Hold on, wait. Now I want you to realize something, right? Remember. So who owns the politicians in America? No, not Great Britain. How did y'all miss that, bro? I literally just gave it to you piece by piece. The same people that I just showed you the name of are the same people that own all of the politicians. Okay, here, let me do it like this. If this is 90% of this, and this is owned by these people, then who owns America's politician system? If 90% of the people that are politicians are owned by the place that these people own, then who is the one that owns it? You get me? I love y'all. Have a great evening. Now think about that when you think about whether you want to get your status corrected or not.